A server pukes on a customer. This story takes place when I was a service manager of a national chain restaurant. In this particular restaurant I was working at, it was high volume. So on the weekends, we would have anywhere from like 12 to 15 servers on the floor plan. And me and one of the other managers, we were the lowest managers on the totem pole and the newest managers, which meant we closed pretty much every night. And we'll call this other manager Steven for story's sake. Well, it was Saturday night and me and Steven were closing together. Well, on this particular Saturday, for some unknown reason, we were a little bit slower than usual. And of course, all the servers are like griping and wanting to be cut off the floor so they can go home. Most every server on this shift came in at the same time. So really, it was just picking and choosing who was going to get that cut to go home. And Steven thought it would be a good idea to do a challenge in order to decide which server goes home. And that's when I found out that Steven was talking about the cinnamon challenge. And for those of you who don't know, the cinnamon challenge is you take a spoonful of cinnamon, put it in your mouth, and attempt to swallow it. And to this point, I had never heard of this challenge, and he explained to me, like, hey, dude, it's basically impossible. Like, nobody's going to be able to do this. So he went up to the servers like, hey, whoever wants to be cut, if you complete the cinnamon challenge and swallow it, then you'll get to be cut and go home. Me, I'm just going along with it because I've never heard of this challenge. I don't know how it's going to go. When Steven had been at this restaurant longer than me, so I'm just going with it. And we had 4 servers raise their hand and they're like, yeah, I want to go home, so yeah, I'll do the challenge. So Steven was like, okay, as soon as you get caught up with your tables, meet us in dry storage. And as me and Steven are in the dry storage area waiting on the servers to come in, he explains to me how all this is going to work, and he tells me basically like, hey, I've never seen anyone complete this challenge, but it's going to be really funny. All the servers finally get back to dry storage. My friend Steven explains the challenge to them, and every one of the servers knew the challenge already. So we start with the first server, spoonful of cinnamon, puts it in her mouth. She lasts about 5 seconds before she's coughing. The cinnamon's coming out of her nose, and she's spitting it out on the ground. Right when this happens, the other servers are laughing, like Steven's laughing. Well, 2 of the servers, they decide to drop out, and they're like, you know what, I don't have to be cut. I'm not doing this. And they go back to taking care of their tables. But the second server was like, no, I think I can do it. Steven reaches in with a spoonful of cinnamon, gives it to the server puts it in her mouth, and she lasts about 15-20 seconds before the same result. She starts spitting out the cinnamon's coming out of her nose, she's coughing, and she won't stop coughing. All the while, Steven's laughing. He said, haha, I bet none of you servers going to ask to be cut again. So the server recovers and goes back out front and starts taking care of her tables. That server goes out to the table to check on this couple that she has that just got their food. And as she's in the middle of checking on them, she starts coughing and snorting, and she throws up on the lady at the table. Both the man and the woman are jumping up from the table. The lady's screaming in horror, and the server that just threw up is just standing there in shock. The lady that has the puke all over gets up and runs to the bathroom while the guy is at the table, and he is pissed. By this time, the server that puked on her and another server had come back with towels. The server's apologizing over and over and over. And I'm looking at Steven and I'm like, I'm not going out there and talking to them. This is your fault. You're going to go out there and talk to this couple. And I felt so bad for the server because that is embarrassing to throw up anyway, but especially puking on a customer in front of a dining room full of people, that's on another level. So we had to cut her after that and let her go home. I'm not sure what Steven said to that table, but he said he smoothed it over. He bought all their food and even gave the guy his business card and said that he would pay for the cleaning of the lady's dress that she was wearing. We had to end up buying a few tables that was around that area because, as you know, puke smells, and that's going to cut people off from wanting to eat. So this stupid-ass prank that Steven had thought of ended up backfiring and costing the restaurant a couple of $100s.